Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good noon, wherever you are. It's Feminine Fridays. I'm Laura Rubenstein here with the traveling Diane Hackman. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Laura. Good to be here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the weekend.
Yeah, tell us where you are this weekend.
So I am in on the beautiful island of Kauai in the area called Poipu. And
Mm,
it is beautiful and magical and so much vibrant colors, lots of exploration.
it's great. I know the energy of being on an island, and in particular in Hawaii, is very transformative. It's a
Yes.
state changer. You kind of get into this mode of everything's okay, hang loose, right?
Yeah, and I love where it seems that most of the Fridays that we're on that I'm traveling somewhere in the world, and I love to bring that energy to the people that join us. So I'm bringing all of you that aloha spirit.
Yes, aloha, everyone. I'll take that in myself. That's great. So I
Yeah.
pulled a card as we do every Friday here. Oh, I actually have a whole bag that I can show you the actual, I don't know if I've actually shown the how it comes packaged, the feminine power cards, right?
Mhm.
So every week we pull a card from this deck, and they come in this beautiful organza bag. And there's actually a bookmark that's stuck in there that has some more gifts, a link to a page with more gifts, like a ebook on how to play and how to use these cards and how they're coded. We talked about that last time. But I pulled a card, and as you know, on the pink side, it's the feminine power principle, and on the blue side is how to practice it. So this card says one word. You ready for the word?
Yes. Curious.
So the word is create.
Uh,
Create. So the blue side is okay. So what about that? So that's obviously a verb, create. Do something you love right now.
mm,
I don't care
okay.
if it's just breathe or think about something you want to do, in a few minutes, or hopefully you love watching us, right? Because um, you know, doing things you love really spurs that creative energy, right?
Yes.
It allows
Yes.
us to and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like it says create. I
Mhm.
mean, brushing your
Right.
teeth is creative, okay? You're creative, clean teeth. So if you love the feeling of brushing your teeth, you make it a creative process. There's
Right.
something, I don't know, sometimes when I was younger, I had this more consciously and it's evolved, but I used to just say, I gotta go do something creative. I gotta, make something.
Yeah.
And it could be, we all can make things.
Yeah. I
There's
think
some,
it's so fun. I mean, one of the things I love to create is I love to create, community and collaboration. And this is why I love connecting with you, Laura, and our friends on Facebook to kick off the weekend is, there's usually something that we're chatting with and there's, I'm just about collaboration. It's like, well, what do you think about this? And what pops up for you around this? And, one of the things my sister Jules is here with me and we love doing puzzles, and that's kind of a family thing that we love to do. In fact, I don't know if I can actually pick it up, but we were in one of like the little stores and they had like these little mini puzzles. And so like we did a puzzle, like, just in the afternoon, just while we were chatting about things and, just super simple to put together. And it was just a fun, creative thing to do that was mindless as part of when we were back after a day of swimming and hiking and just that creative process. I think one of the things I love about puzzles is that the people you're doing them with, you're creating something, but yet you also seem to have some magical conversations because you're around the table. And my family tends to do them more around like Thanksgiving, which is coming up, and Christmas because we're all together. Maybe we throw on a Hallmark movie and have it playing in the background, but there's something about having conversations when you're creating together.
yeah, very powerful. I love that you brought that up, doing it in community. And it doesn't have to be something that requires artistic ability. It could be putting a puzzle together, which is so connecting, because when you're just sitting there watching a movie, you're not engaging. But if you're like, oh, do you have this piece or you do have that piece? And then it's not too like involved, that you can actually have other conversation, right?
Mhm.
And you
Wow.
take breaks and you things come up and people relax and it's great and you're present. So
Right.
there's one thing to do things like this, and then there's another thing to say you're spending time with people. And I'm going off on a tangent here, but I think it's important. When you're drinking alcohol, for example, you're not really present if you're drinking. you're
True.
you're under the influence, which is another wonderful, could be a wonderful thing to do, but it's not being in the moment with somebody as they are, and yourself even. So the creative process here, though, allows you to stay present with whatever's up, and to explore parts of yourself. I used to think I needed to create something artistic, and I had this art energy in me. Not that the art came out like beautiful, like something somebody would buy, but it was something that it was an expression of something in me. And to this day, I host soul collage workshops. And if anybody can collage, right? You can cut things out of magazines or rip things out of magazines and put them on a piece of paper with glue, like a glue stick. And that could be creative. And soul collage is an intuitive collaging process. So it's not about creating a piece of art, but it's about creating something and then looking at it and said, what did I just create? What did my subconscious mind bring forth that I wouldn't otherwise have seen? So we then look at what we've created afterwards. And I love that process also when you do a puzzle. Now you're creating something specific, but you look at it and you're like, wow, I did that, right? There's
Yeah.
like that endorphin rush.
Yeah. There's something about locking those pieces together. It's like little mini accomplishments.
Yeah, and today is really a reminder to just stop and see what you can, know that you have the power to create. And it's worth taking some time to just put into that creative process. You never know what's going to blossom out of that. We're all creative beings.
Yeah. Ah, I love that.
Uh,
Yeah.
for those women who are pregnant, you're creating something every moment of your day, right?
Yeah.
There's a creative process going on. You are inherently creative. We women are inherently creative because we have that ability, whether we've had kids or not. But it's just a part of who we are, is my point.
Right, right. Well, I know today I was thinking like from a co-creative process, we're going to be walking down to the ocean. And, because of the time of year, it's actually approaching more winter. The waves are just like crashing like crazy. Like they're just big waves. And there's a lot of areas you can't really swim. And just being on the shore where you're having those strength of those waves crash, and then it like fills up the sand around your feet, and it's just like this play with water of when the water comes up and how it affects you, and it may knock you over, and you get to play with the water, and just this creative process by just being in nature, right? Like how do we interact with nature? I mean, going on a walk or a hike can be a creative process because of your interaction with what you notice. Like, are you seeing flowers? Are you seeing butterflies? What are you seeing out there? Sometimes even I find being in nature allows you to commune with nature to work through things. Like if you're going through some challenging things, you can have this creative encounter with nature that helps you see things from a different perspective and just, allow that to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, just staring at nature and nature's creativity, right? Nature just like, wow. There's an artist called Andrew Goldsworthy, and he creates art out of nature. He'll build stone bridges, not bridges, walls that kind of snake around trees or up a hill or into a ditch. And he does things with leaves and icicles, and some of this art just disappears. But just contemplating this creative aspect of nature, I love it. And also, um, being a witness to creativity is creative. It's like, wow, how did someone think of to do that? Or how did nature do this? It's like, wow, it's so beautiful, and just admiring what you love about it. If you're loving it, the idea, the practices, do something you love right now. That is creating. if you're doing something, I mean, it's hard not to create in the world, but if you focus on what you love, you bring that positive energy to the world, to your life, and to
Yeah,
around and to your community, like you said.
right.
And
Have
try
you been,
something. Yeah, have I been
I
where?
was just going to say, have you ever been to like a live art presentation? I was at an auction one time where there was an artist on stage who had a blank canvas, and she just started putting lines on there and strokes and color. And I mean, it just seemed like a madman experience that was happening. And within like moments, there was this beautiful angel that had appeared on the canvas. And it was just an amazing experience to just witness and be part of that creative process of, what's that going to look like and what's going to happen, and just the energy of the audience and this artist. And it was just beautiful.
Yeah,
And
performance
yeah,
art, right?
yeah, yeah,
So it's interesting. My husband's a glass blower, and by hobby,
beautiful work.
thank you. And so a lot of weekends when he does this, I'll go and watch him. And I never get tired of it. And you're right. And the very first time I saw glass blowing, it was like, what is he creating? And this wasn't him. I saw it from somebody else. It's like, is it going to be a vase? No. Is it going to be a candle holder? No, maybe it's a pineapple. No, it's an angel. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
you never know, but that is creative to kind of figure things out and to watch that process and how it evolves. And you're right, the performance, and my husband will often say, it's one thing to have the vase, the finished vase, but it's another thing to have watched it being created, because you're a part of it
Yeah.
now. You really are.
Right. Yes, I love that. It was so fun. Yeah, I can remember even like, 'cause I loved coloring as a kid, and I still love to do it. Where you choose what colors, and that's something I actually love doing with my grandkids. Where it's like everyone will choose a color, and like we'll all color parts of the page and just see what it looks like and what happens. And it's just that collaboration and that connection that happens together when you create.
Yeah, doing things connectively or collectively with creativity is really fun. And I love that you brought that in today. And, they have all kinds of coloring books for adults now. It's like the in thing. It's been in for
Yeah.
maybe 5 years or so. So, it's easy to create if we remind ourselves to do it, whether it's a puzzle or a coloring book or coloring even on a piece of paper. Is that what you do? You just take a blank piece of paper and color?
Well, we've done both. We've taken a blank piece of paper or a coloring book. We have some of the adult ones. They actually really like those because they have a lot of the mandalas and just the patterns of them they really love. And my sister Jewel does a project called Zentangle that she was just telling me about, where it's just these beautiful unfolding where it has different depths, and there's even classes, that she's gone to on it. And, where there's something about collaboration and creating in community, I think is such a powerful experience. And we, even here on social media, I mean, you guys can be connecting with us, but it can also feel isolating, right? Because if you're alone a lot, they're saying that with the more social media out there, that people feel more isolated than ever, and so I think it's important when you have certain types of social media connections, and that's part of our intention here, is that we are like, what are you guys up to really spark your creativity, and what are you going to focus on? And not from a focus because you have to complete, but what beauty are you going to have in today? What sings to your heart? What is it that really is going to inspire you today? And what can you do to really connect and have more days that you're loving the things that you're doing? And I think it's part of our reaching out and creating community is something that is a big intention of ours.
Yeah, we love for you to reach out to your community as we reach out to you, and remember to create. Allow yourself that, either watch the creative process, invite somebody in to be creative, and it could be doodling, like Zentangle kind of had its foundations in doodling, could be coloring. I just realized that on my desk here, I have this, like you said,
Ooh, pretty.
mandala, right? So what did I do with it? It was supposed to be an ornament, but I'm using it now as a coaster. I laminated. Actually, I didn't laminate it. I put a piece of tape on it, like one of those packing tape, so it's nice and
Yeah.
shiny now, and I can put my drinks on it, and it just reminds me of the creative process. So go make a
Yeah.
coaster today, everybody.
It's pretty.
Print something out, make it a coaster. It's easy, super duper.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. You can color, you can collage, you can take an hour. Give yourself that this weekend. Feminine Fridays, tap into your creative soul. The juice of life is there for you to remember it's not, it's just as far away as a little magic marker or a colored pen or even a black and white pen with the Zentangle, right? So doodle your heart away.
Yeah, definitely. How fun. Well, I would love for everyone to put into the comments and
Hey, Shirley.
what type of creative thing are you going to do?
Yeah, and Shirley's here. She said hi. And yeah, so if you're inspired to do something creative, that's what today's card that we picked from the Feminine Power Cards deck is. And it says do something you love right now. So, and I don't care if it's for 30 seconds, but give yourself the gift of that dive into something creative today. And there's a difference between, here's one other point I want to make about today. There's a difference between creativity and being artistic. We're not talking about being artistic. We're talking about just creating something. And you brought up from the very beginning, gathering people, create an environment, create a space to connect with someone else or your own. Could be lighting a candle because
Right.
and looking at the patterns you created from the light shadows. It's like it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
any big pressure. No pressure here, people. Just do something. The back of the card says, do something you love right now.
Yeah. That reminded me, Laura, something I used to do when my girls were like in high school is we just wanted to create something different in our home, and we would move furniture. Like we
Ooh.
would just shift things around where it's like, and I could like hear my daughters up in their room moving things around and just seeing a different perspective and shifting things and just, moving one thing in your environment can actually have huge impacts about how you feel about the room, what you like about it. There's very simple things that you can create in your space. You can even move pillows from one room to another and flip them around. And it's just like you're creating.
I know, and I recently discovered, and I really don't know much about it, washi tape. Have you heard of washi tape?
No, tell me
It's
about that.
it's just masking tape, little I think it's like half-inch wide. They may have wider ones. Tape that has designs on it, and you can put it on stuff. Put it on a
Oh,
notebook.
yes.
Put it on a notebook. Put it on I've got it on a clip. Put it on a cardboard box. It doesn't matter where you put it, but it was just another thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get some washi tape and see where I can put it.
Yeah.
So there's so
I remember
much.
my girls, I was gonna say my girls used to grab some of that, and I think that's actually coming back around, and my grandkids are now doing it where they'll actually put the different colored tapes on their shoes. And they would create different designs on their shoes.
I'm so glad you said that because I put some red duct tape on some slippers that were falling apart, and I keep them at my mother's house so I don't have to travel with them. And I take them out every Thanksgiving when I'm there, and everybody makes fun of me. But now I'm trendy. I have red duct tape on my Ugg boots.
Yeah. Now you can put ones that have like hearts or flowers or
Yeah, now
have.
I'm gonna make it decorate them. And Shirley says she loves sharing time with creative and powerful women. And you know what? We are all full of power, especially as women. And yes, it's fun to consciously do something creative with people and bring that out in each other. And so can't wait to hear what y'all are doing with your
Yeah.
creativity. Share it with us, share it on Facebook, share it with the world. If you feel like it, I mean, obviously just do it for yourself.
Absolutely. So fun.
Yeah, this was another creative, lovely Feminine Friday time. Diane, thank you so much for taking time during your trip to Hawaii. I love traveling the world with you this way.
It's fun for me too, because there's usually something that's significant from where I'm at that applies to the cards. And that's what I love about not ever knowing what cards are going to get picked, because it all becomes relevant. And that's part of that co-creative process that we do with each other, that we do with, our friends that tune in here, is that there's something for us all to create through the process and start off the weekend with some great intentions.
Exactly. All right. So have a fabulous Feminine Friday and a whole weekend. I'll be back
All
next
right.
week. Bye. Bye for
Bye-bye.
now.
Love you all.
Mwah. Love you.